In this video, we're going to talk about how we sold 17 medical weight loss clients in just 2.5 weeks. And as you can see here, here's a message that I got from the client we were able to do this for on February 17th. And they said after that morning, they had added 17 people in February for their medical weight loss program. And so in this video, I'm not going to give you some like super secret or magic bullet ad. Like this isn't going to be some secret sauce or anything. It's really just the result of a simple 4-step process that we follow with all of our clients, regardless of what they're advertising, that anybody can use. And I'll walk you through the entire thing step by step. And so just to get right into it, why most weight loss funnels fail, it usually starts with an offer that looks something like this. And I see this all the time right now, but like get your first injection for just $97. And now if you're advertising on Facebook, of course, you're not saying the word like semaglutide. You're usually saying like slim shot or skinny shot or something like that. But I see this offer all the time where people say like, oh, come in and get a $97 first injection plus like a consultation and some bonus. On the surface, it seems like a really great way to get people in the door because it's low friction, it's not super expensive, gets people's attention. But what's the very next question that every single person asks after they see an ad like this? Well, what's the price, right? Okay, it's $97 for the first injection, but I know that I need more than just one injection. So what does it cost after that? Nowadays, especially with medical weight loss, the market is pretty sophisticated. They see the commercials on TV, they get ads all the time on social media, and so people don't think that they're going to get one injection and then get skinny, right? And so they see this ad and they're like, okay, $97 first injection. Am I paying 97 for every single injection after that? Is it more than that? Is it less than that? And so basically, just like that, you've lost control. They have way too many questions, which most people just won't even care. They'll just continue to scroll on. But the people who do want to get more information, what do you think is the first question they're going to ask you? You've left the most important question, which is the real price of it, completely unanswered. And so that's all that they're going to care about. You've accidentally trained them into becoming a price shopper and not a patient. And so you end up in a race to the bottom trying to sell a long-term high-value treatment plan of medical weight loss to people who only showed up for the $97 discount, and all they care about is how much is it going to cost afterwards. So here's what we did that worked pretty well for us instead of doing that. So this is the 4-pillar system. The first step here is a transparent offer. So we started by completely changing the offer. Instead of running like a $97 intro, which is super vague and kind of low dollar, we were completely transparent about the monthly pricing that we were offering. And so our prices were very competitive, and so we didn't want to hide them. We loaded up the offer with a whole bunch of valuable bonuses that we knew people wanted, like a 90-day roadmap, nutrition plan, an app for tracking, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, why did this work? Why was it helpful for us to just be transparent about our monthly pricing for medical weight loss in the ad and on the front end itself? Because my client that we ran these ads for, they understand the math. And my client isn't just trying to see, okay, how many $97 sales can we get? And then let's try to upsell people as hard as we can in the consultation. He's asking himself, okay, well, how many people can we just get started on a plan who are going to pay us $2,500 to $5,000 per year and also stay on for as a client for the next several years at the bare minimum. So he's happy to offer competitive pricing to get people in the door because he knows, especially with medical weight loss, it is very sticky, right? Medical weight loss is sticky. It's like insurance. As long as you still want the results, which in this case is losing weight, you're going to keep paying for it, and you're probably not going to switch providers unless you've had a bad experience. And now I know, of course, with medical weight loss, it's really important that you're also getting nutrition help and lifestyle help, and you don't want to just get people hooked on these injections for the rest of their lives. But for the most part, it's very similar to that in terms of like it does take time to get results, and so you're not going to get one injection and get results. It's also not like some other aesthetic treatments where you get like 3 or 4 treatments and then you're good and you get like one maintenance per year. Like this is the type of thing where you need to stay on it for several months, potentially even years, in order to see the results. And so we didn't build an offer to just sell one injection. We built an offer to acquire a long-term patient, which leads me to pillar 2, which is the educational landing page. And so when somebody saw our ad where we were being very transparent about our competitive pricing, we didn't send them to just like a simple form to say, hey, fill out your name, email, and phone number. We sent them to an educational page that was designed to answer one question. And that question is, what is someone who just clicked a weight loss ad probably thinking about right now? So just as a couple examples, they're probably wondering, will this work for me? I've tried other things in the past and they didn't work. How is this any different? They're probably very skeptical and they probably want to see proof to know that it actually works. And so the page that we made, it was loaded with before and after photos, testimonials, clear information about the kinds of results that they could realistically expect from their medical weight loss program. And so we proactively answered all of their questions and we alleviated their concerns before they even had a chance to worry about it. And that was at bare minimum enough for them to take the next step, which was to move move forward to pillar 3, which is the virtual consultation. And so most clinics, they try to go straight for the kill, quote unquote. They want you to basically click an ad and then immediately book an in-person appointment to come into the office. And there's a massive commitment that needs to be made in order to do that for someone who just doesn't know you yet. They're a stranger to you, and that makes them feel uncomfortable, especially for a service that you're going to be paying monthly for. Like I said, people know that this isn't the type of thing where you get one injection and you're done. And so it takes a big leap for somebody to come into your actual clinic. And so we did the exact opposite, and we just asked for a micro commitment up front. And so instead of an in-person visit as the first step, the next step was just a free 15-minute virtual consultation with the provider over Zoom. Much easier, yes, because it's comfortable. It's from the comfort of their own home. It gives them a chance to meet the provider and build a little bit of that human connection first before they ever think about spending money. And so I can take a Zoom consultation laying in bed if I wanted to. I don't have to, get dressed, put on my shoes, go get my keys, drive to the place that might be 20, 30 minutes away just to potentially talk to a doctor that I don't even know yet, to potentially say, no, I'm not even interested in that, right? So it just feels like a big step, even though you and I, we both know it's not that big of a step, but in the mind of the person who's considering something like this, it sounds like a big step. And if someone doesn't schedule, then our team called them so that they could talk with a real person for a few minutes on the phone, and they would help them get scheduled for the virtual consult right then and there. And so if we generated a lead who didn't schedule the virtual consult, we would then call those people and ask them some questions, make sure they were feeling comfortable about it, and then we'd help them get scheduled for the virtual consult. And so it either went add to virtual consult, or it went add to us talking to them on the phone and then to the virtual consult. And finally, pillar 4 is proactive nurture content. And so from there, we asked ourselves another very important question, which is after somebody schedules that virtual consult or the Zoom call, what are they probably worrying about, right? What fears or concerns do they have in their head after they've scheduled the virtual consult? Well, they're probably having a lot of second thoughts. They're probably thinking, okay, well, I just scheduled this virtual consult, but like, is this actually going to be worth my time? Like, what am I going to get out of this? Like, is there any value in showing up to this consult aside from them just like trying to pitch me their services, right? Are they just going to hard sell me? Are they just going to try to get me to buy something the entire time? That sounds like it would probably be a waste of 15 minutes. It sounds like it would suck. And then also, did I just make the right choice? Like, I just scheduled this thing. Was it a mistake? Should I be focusing on something different? Should I really just focus on other methods of potentially losing weight? Like, there's a lot of different things in their mind that they're concerned about at this point. And that's why oftentimes you see a lot of no-shows. Just as a little hack there as well. Like, if you're ever experiencing a lot of no-shows, it is less likely that it's because you didn't send the right combination of reminders or because you didn't collect a deposit. And it's more likely that the person just doesn't see the value in showing up for that appointment. And that applies for in-person appointments. It also applies for virtual consultations just like this one. And so it helps to think about what things would they probably be concerned about at this point. We live in an age where everybody's super anxious right now. If you leave them alone with their thoughts, they're probably going to start frantically Googling things and find Reddit horror stories. Like if I look up GLP-1s or medical weight loss on Reddit, one of the first posts that I saw was titled, "My situation feels completely hopeless and I wish I had never tried Ozempic." Now, obviously, if you provide Ozempic or not, different story. But this is the type of stuff that people read that freaks them out, and then they decide not to show up for their appointment. Is that what you want your potential new patient reading the night before their consultation with you? Probably not, right? So what you do is you get ahead of it. And so from the moment they schedule their virtual consult, what we did is we put them into an automated email and text sequence. So we were sending them emails and texts between when they scheduled and when it actually happened. But we weren't just sending a bunch of reminders like, oh, your appointment's coming up soon. We were basically sending them content that proactively addressed their fears. And so we sent them even more testimonials. We explained the consultation process in more detail. What's going to actually happen on this call and why is it valuable for you to show up, whether you decide to move forward or not. Promising that it wouldn't be this high pressure thing the entire time. And we also set clear, honest expectations about what results can you expect, what are you going to get out of this call, so on and so forth. And so by the time they showed up to this virtual consultation, they weren't anxious or skeptical. They were thankful, right? They felt seen and understood, and they were also pre-sold on our transparency and on our process, because the entire time we're just explaining to them exactly how things are going to go. And so if we put it all together, just to recap the system, we start off with a transparent offer, not like a cheap transactional one. We basically just told them what our pricing was monthly upfront, and it was very competitive to get people in the door. And we know that even though it is a competitive pricing, maybe we're sacrificing a little bit of profit on day one, but we know that if we can get somebody to stick around for 12, 24, 36 months, that is going to be a very profitable patient for the business. Step 2 is an educational landing page that builds trust and answers questions up front. Step 3 is a low friction virtual consultation to get a micro commitment. And then step 4 is proactive automated nurture that gets ahead of their fears and sets you up as the trusted guide. And so it's all about understanding the patient psychology and also building a system that serves them at every single step of the journey. And so stop trying to like drag people or force people down a path. Start helping them get there. And I believe the best way to do that is through educational content. And so with all that said, I recently built a guide called our 2026 Med Spa Growth Guide, which goes into even more detail about exactly how to build this same type of process for any of your aesthetic treatments or your wellness treatments. And so if you want it, you can click the first link in the description below. It is free and you can download it immediately. So I'll send it right over to you after you do that. I appreciate your time and thanks for watching.